Hello, my N64 for the Nintendo Switch Online turned up today. I'm not sure when it's supposed to be released, but turned up this morning, so I thought I'd do a quick video just unboxing it. Not done a video in ages, a lot of stuff going on, and to be honest, not many games that I've bought physically to show you anyway, so gonna see how this goes. I've not opened it yet. It's not sealed on any of the sides. I don't know if that's so has less value online. I'm not scalping it. I'm going to keep it for myself. I'm not sure if I'll subscribe to the expansion pass quite yet. I think there's a bit of pros and cons to it. So see what Nintendo does based off people's mostly negative reactions. But as soon as I saw that this was available online, I jumped at the chance to get it because I knew it could end up being hard to come by. I didn't buy either of the NES or the SNES controllers when they were available because I didn't think there was really a need. But the button configuration of the N64 controller is so unique that it will probably not feel the same trying to play them on the Switch controllers as they are. I think this cost about £40. Comes with that and a USB cable, same as the Switch Pro controller. Also got, as well as unboxing that, just went and quickly got one of the original ones for comparison. This isn't a grey one, this is a blue one that when the N64 came out, not long after it released, they did some other coloured ones, and this was one colour that I was looked high and low trying to get my hands on when they were first available. I liked the colour, the way it looked in the promotional materials. Unfortunately, the colour has faded somewhat and looks a bit sort of yucky greeny blue now, but I'll open that in a little while. So anyway, let's open this up. There are some buttons and other things on there that weren't obviously on the original, mostly to do with the Switch's home buttons, capture button maybe. It's wireless, which is a bit of a given, but that'd be convenient. Let's turn it up the other way. I've had quite a bad sore throat and cough recently, so excuse my voice if it sounds a bit odd. I think that will probably just lift out of there. It's got something in the middle. I thought from what I saw on some promo material, maybe that can be removed, but it looked like there's just a hole there. Actually, let's put this aside for a moment. Instructions and cable under here. USB A to C, is it? Charging cable, just like on the Switch Pro. I'm not sure if the length is any longer. That's mainly for charging. I'm thinking you may be able to have it through the cable, the data through the cable, like you can on the Switch Pro controller if you change one of the settings in the switches menu. Some stuff about battery, electrical safety, other things, how to charge. All the usual stuff that people probably don't pay attention to. Right, shows some extra buttons on there. Not sure if that's in focus. Hopefully it is. That's probably it, in other languages as well. May be able to just charge it using the existing cable, so I think I'll put it that way. And that's a nice noise. Not sure if I've done that right. It looks like it's in about the right place as it was. People are speculating as to whether the analog stick's built the same way as it was originally or been updated, because it ended up after a little while getting a sort of area in the middle where it would be rather loose. I never felt it did ever did stick drift, or whatever you want to call it, like the Switch has. And it definitely has, because we've got 2 switches and 6 Joy-Cons in total, and every single one of those has had analog drift at some point. Ended up getting them sent back to Nintendo to repair for free. I don't know if in England or Europe they officially say that repair them for free. They say they'll assess them and then they will tell you how much it's going to cost, but on all of mine they've ended up doing it for free, luckily. So see how that goes if you've got issues. Feels good. Feels good to have a controller that doesn't feel like it's worn down in certain areas and got grime in all the nooks and crannies. The seams feel like as if they could be quite large, but maybe they were in the original. We'll have a look in a while. Right, and on the top here, got the USB Type-C charging port, a ZR button. Don't know if that equates to the ZL. That might be that ZL, that ZR. Obviously that wasn't originally on the N64. Home button, the capture button, and the sync button. So you're really missing the plus and minus buttons off the Switch controller. Obviously start would be the equivalent of plus, so I'm assuming we're just lacking a minus button or equivalent. I'm guessing you won't be needing that. I have no idea if that's in, looking on my screen on my phone, it doesn't look like it's always in focus. Like I said, I've not used this much, so hopefully autofocus is doing its job. This is Nintendo 64 controller, model number HAC 043, made in China. this bit here, looks like that's sealed in. There's no need for it to be removed because apparently it's got rumble in it now, built in, and you're not going to need the memory cards either. And I guess it's not really practical to be using whatever the equivalent of the, I don't know, Game Boy. I don't know if it was just a Game Boy reader or Pokemon specific cartridge reader. There was a pack that went in where you could slot your Pokemon cartridges in to take your data and use them in other games. That's all moulded in. I've always liked on the 64 and the GameCube where they had these octagonal little divots on. Just meant you'd know when you're pushing into a diagonal that is, you know, or any compass direction, that you definitely had it in place. I prefer that, I think, compared to like the Switch where it's just a circle and you could, I mean, it might be easier to make micro adjustments, but you still can on here, so. Let's put that down for a sec and let's have a look at the original and compare them. I've not actually checked this is in here. I went through a load of stuff recently and been selling a lot of it online. And I know I do have it, and I'm hoping it's just what I'm expecting to be in here and nothing else. So let's give it a go. It's got a really dirty greeny orange colour now. Still got the warranty in there. On my screen on the phone it doesn't look too bad. It looks like a dark blue, kind of the colour that I was expecting it to be, but in person it has a slight yellowy tinge to it. I mean, you can tell the difference there where the sun has like two-tone. The sun has got to it. The top is discoloured, and the underneath's more its original colour, more sort of medium blue. Particularly yellow around here, and it's not been cleaned. That stick is a little loose, like I said. Let's have a look. I can see the seams. That's not focusing, I can tell that. I can see the seams are different. They're wide, and then go to, let's try and put this on. Put it on manual focus. Right. You see the seams are wide, go to narrow around the ends. On here, they're consistently wide all the way around. Obviously the lack of buttons, the port with a clip, the release. Screw placement slightly different. There's a holes there where you can see the hinge or where the button is hinged, which aren't on here. Feels like they're the same size. The D-pad on here is matte. Feels more like on the N64 one. This, maybe it's just been heavily used, but even though it's got a texture on it, it's kind of like definitely a shinier plastic. Buttons pretty much look the same, still recessed letters and arrows printed on there. And these same for these shoulder buttons. They're more matte on here, they seem a lot shinier. Maybe that's where they've been used. I feel like it's more plastic. I feel like they have the same travel on them. Yeah, and so it feels pretty much the same. It looks slightly, I might be wrong, but like the edge on here feels a bit more, a nice, slightly sharper. Could be wrong. Seems like that's a bit more of a softer transition around the corners. Then saying that this middle prong, that seems sharper in the middle, but a little softer on that. May not be, it's just what it looks and feels like. All in all, there's not really much difference, apart from the cable, the extra buttons, and the lack of the port there. Not used it yet, obviously I've just unboxed it, and don't think I'll be getting the expansion pass when it launches. I think I'll give it some time first, see how things go, see how people are reacting to it, and as Nintendo confirm a bit more information or change the price or anything that they're willing to do. I hope moving forward that other DLC for first party games like Breath of the Wild 2 or Splatoon 3 gets included in it. I'm a bit unsure about the fact that they're saying that the Animal Crossing stuff, if you don't subscribe anymore, that you only get to keep certain parts of it. I think that's a bit out of order, because I think you're paying for the cost of it in the cost of the online subscription. I think you should get to keep it. It needs to feel like there's more. That's makes it worth the money, especially for people that haven't got Animal Crossing. It's not really giving you much for your money. Luckily, we've got 2 Switches in the house that have got Animal Crossing, 2 separate islands, and to get the expansion, the island DLC, would end up, if you'd have to buy it twice for each, once for each Switch. That would end up costing almost £45. So to pay for the Switch Online will, be worth it. I can hear my daughters arguing. Hopefully you can't. We'll see. Anyway, so that's all from me. And I'll put these away.